also a reality. So we have in the studio Princess Fumi Hancock. Good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on the Ben Breakfast
Thank you.
Show.
Thank you.
So you are a doctor.
Yes.
And I know you are a doctor before you became an author.
Yes.
And a filmmaker.
Yes.
Can you tell us your journey into being
Well,
in the medical profession?
Well, I tell you what, when I graduated from the University of Ife in Nigeria with the English, I wanted to be in medicine. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Look at that! Oh my God, that is awesome!
Here to do my master's.
Yeah, oh, awesome! So that's the same thing I did. I came in and I did my master's in writing, writing for TV and films.
Yeah.
So I went back home and actually worked for NTA for a little bit, for maybe 1 or 2 years. Wrote some stories that got featured. And then my then husband decided, okay, we got to come back.
Yeah.
And that's how I went back to the U.S. And so when I got to U.S., I always knew that I cared. I love that caring aspect of it. I wasn't sure which angle I was going to go, but I loved nursing more than medicine because I felt like nursing would allow me to actually care, where medicine is just like, just write it and keep going.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got into nursing. And as I got into nursing, I felt like, okay, I want to be able to have my own clinic. I want to be able to practice the way I want. And more importantly, it wasn't so much for diabetes and things like that, but I wanted mental health, and that's how I got into it.
Yeah, and mental health is one of those issues that people don't really pay attention to.
That's right.
Especially, everyone thinks everyone is fine.
That's right.
I was watching the news 2 days ago, and a man in Oyo State committed suicide. And I'm sure back in the days, they're like, there's nothing like depression.
That's right.
No one is depressed. I know Africans, to an extent, we have this strength, we have this, I don't know, we can just take a lot in, and we feel we can go through stuff. So I think things are really changing. Yeah. There are people that are going through depression, mental issues, and they need attention. So how do you do? Do you talk to them, support them?
Well, that's one of the things. You support them, you talk to them, you also prescribe for them when it's possible, when it's necessary. Yeah. Now, yesterday when I was traveling over here, one of my fearless visionaries sent me a news from Kenya, because she's in Kenya doing the launch for Fearless Visionaries. So she sent me this, and they said, World Health Organization said that depression is, highest, as its highest
Kenya.
In Africa.
Wow.
In Kenya. And when I saw that paper, front page, I was like, whoa, this is something. A lot of us in Africa, it's a taboo to even talk about it. Yeah. To say, okay, you have this. And if somebody has schizophrenia, we know where they take them. Arrow, right? Arrow.
Or they say they're even being possessed by some evil spirit.
That's right. And so they throw them in the forest or something like that and just leave them, set them and forget it there. But now we're beginning to understand. Some of us Nigerians are beginning to go back to school, read more about it, study more about it, and understand that even if you're schizophrenic, you can still have a great life. Yeah. If you're bipolar, you can still have a great life. Some of us, I remember with myself, ADHD. You get to America and at 30-something, and they're saying you have ADHD, which they say you've had since you were younger, but because you lived in Nigeria, you did not even know that you had it. You just knew that you couldn't, any small thing, your attention span was this small. You just knew that you know what, if they give you this now, in 1 second you're off of it. Yeah. But you didn't know it was ADHD. So the cool thing now is we can go back to Africa, we can go back to Nigeria and begin to educate people about it.
Okay, so wonderful. Tell us the author and the filmmaker aspect of, because I know you've written a lot of books. You have like 12 to 14 bestsellers already.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about the latest one.
Yes.
But before we talk about, because I feel that being a doctor in mental health is a lot. Yeah. Trust me, it's a lot, because it goes beyond prescribing.
That's right.
You have the counseling, you have the support.
Psychotherapy, everything.
Exactly. It's ongoing.
That's right.
Then being an author, writing a book, it's a lot. Yeah. Because it's a project you start. Sometimes it's like, oh, let me drop it. Let me write it. So sometimes you go back again and it's like, oh, when am I going to finish this?
Yeah.
You've been there, exactly. So being a doctor, which is really tedious, being an author,
Yeah.
before we even talk about the filmmaking,
Yeah.
how have you been able to juggle those two?
Well, here's the thing. Writing have always been something that I used to release my tension.
Oh.
So writing has never been a job for me.
You.
It's never been a work. It's actually something that I just use to just release myself.
Oh, nice.
So in 1996, I wrote my very first one, saying "Stepping Out, Fulfilling My Destiny," and that was during my divorce. And I wanted to just tell myself it's time to step out and just go and fulfill your destiny, because you are not divorced. Your name is not divorced. You are not defined by what happened to you, but you can get to define yourself. So that was my first book, and it was just a series of journals that I would write on a daily basis during my divorce. And so those journals became something that I now put together and did the first book. And as I did the first book and it became very successful, it was easy for me to just keep going and just keep writing and keep writing. Yeah.
So what would you say okay, let's talk about the filmmaking before I jump in, because I'm going to say a lot about the writing aspect.
Yeah.
So the filmmaking, how did you start?
Well, remember now, I said when I came to
you're writing,
the US,
true.
I was writing for the media and I was doing that. But at that point, I remember writing my very first script that I wrote, I sent to Hollywood, and it was stolen.
Wow.
And it became a blockbuster.
Really?
That was the painful part of it. It became a blockbuster, and
you didn't sue. There was no.
No, I couldn't go back, because there were letters that showed that they wanted me to be involved, but because I was going through my divorce, and I had to make a choice, because I had a then husband who told me, well, I don't want to go to Hollywood with you. You know, me and the children will just stay. You can go ahead. And I was young, and I said to myself, you know what? I choose my family. And I left that alone. And one day we were sitting in the living room, and he was the one who actually saw it on one of the major magazines and said, "Say, what did you say that film was?" And I said, he said, "Oh, it just became a blockbuster. They did it." Oh. And so that really affected me. For 12 years, I did not write anything.
Oh my God.
For 12 years, I just stayed completely. And on the 12th year, something just came over me and said, you know what? It's done. There's another opportunity for you. And I began to write, and the next opportunity was of Sentimental Value and some other films.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So what would you say your style of writing, you're writing now, so everyone writes for different reasons.
Yes.
Some write for, they pass political messages.
Yes.
Some maybe inspirational messages. Some use their own personal lifestyle too. So what would you say your own writing style is?
I'll say it's a combination. One is inspirational. When I go out and speak anywhere, it's always about inspiring people, motivating them, and providing powerful tools. So those three things drive me. In fact, in America, they call me America's Global Vision Midwife. That's what they call me. And isn't that funny? And I'm a nurse too,
Exactly, you are.
I'm a doctor of nurse practice. So and it's like, wow. So it's just amazing. They didn't know that when they tagged me, Global Vision Midwife. And I said, wow, because people come to me and I help them to push that vision of writing out of them and to create an opportunity and a platform. And I know not only help them to pull it, but I give them a platform to really display their talents. Yeah. And so,
And I know that obviously writing and writing about inspiration, life stuff, women issues in your life, you must have come across a lot of people going through maybe mental stuff, personal stuff. Can you share a bit of some of those issues?
Well, you know what? Let me even start with mine, where I found myself on a bridge called Verrazano Bridge in New York. That bridge is the most used bridge. But when I decided to go commit suicide, do you believe that there was no car coming around? Wow. Isn't that something? That was the most busiest. That's a very busy bridge. But when I decided I was done with life, no car showed up.
Was it like at night, early in the morning?
It was night. It was at 12 midnight.
Oh my God.
And even at that, because the bridge connected two boroughs together, so there should have been at least one or two.
Yeah, and it's New York.
Yeah, thank you. And nothing. And I found myself there saying it's time to end it, because back then I had lost my homes, I lost cars, I'd lost 2 businesses. I mean, the account was gone, the money that my dad gave me gone, everything was completely gone, and I felt like it's over, my life is over. So mine started it, and then when I got back home saying, okay, I'm going to go face it, I literally lost my mind.
Oh my God.
And for 6 months, I didn't know where I was.
So how were you able to battle, you know, that thought of committing suicide? What really happened? So when you got to the bridge, then what happened?
Well, here's what happened. When I got to the bridge, I can remember pushing the pedal. And here's the thing, the bridge is here, the water is here.
Oh my God.
There's no way, I mean, there's no, if you plunge, that's it. There's no way, rescue, nothing. And I remember my car pushing to the ledge, and I pushed that, you know, all I needed to do was to release.
Yeah.
And suddenly I saw a film. It was amazing. I just saw a film, and I saw my children, who were 4 and 2. They were crying. There were women, they were holding them, and they were crying. And I heard, is this the legacy of suicide that you want to leave behind? Do you want to leave it? Do you want them to always say to themselves, they were not good enough?
Yeah, because mommy would have stayed if they were, if not for anything.
Exactly. And so for me, I had to turn back and say, okay, I just, you know, released, and I went back and said, okay, I have to face this. There's no way around this. I have to face this. So when I got home and they found out that I'd lost more stuff,
oh my God.
I just snapped.
Yeah.
I snapped.
Yeah, because...
And I tell you, 6 months later when I came back, I would never forget it. Somebody, I don't know, one of the sisters put me in white. I was in a white gown. And I would never forget I was in a chair rocking like this.
Wow.
So when I came through, the only thing I could remember was, where are my children? Where are my children? And they said, well, we're taking care of your children. So those were the things that led me
to say... So after the suicide,
yeah,
they had to take you for, is it rehabilitation or?
No, I just, I would say it's God. To tell you the truth, I would really, literally say it is God. Well, I did go back, you know, I went back for therapy. I went back to counseling, you know, but it was something that I did in the secret. I just did it behind and said, well, once I came out, I said, nobody's ever going to put me in this position again, that I will lose my mind.
Yeah.
Nobody is ever. So I came through and I said, wait a minute now. You lost your mind over a man?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. This is not acceptable. So for me, it seems like that draws other women that are now going through, even without them knowing my background, there's a synergy that it draws women like that. So a lot of women that I've been seeing, I mean, just like the ones I was telling you, like our latest ones, Fearless Visionaries, 18 women with powerful stories. You have one that was gang raped by 8 men. Just
in Nigeria?
No, in America.
Oh my God.
She's an American.
Wow.
She's actually on her way here too now. She's going to be one of those that will be speaking here. And so she was gang raped. And not only that, from 9 all the way, 9, maybe 3 or 9, all the way up.
Oh.
Boom, boom, boom. Including even a physician.
Oh my God.
All right. Who you just take your child to do something now. The physician put her to sleep and did this thing.
Oh God. People are sick.
So you have someone like that. And it went all the way to when she was gang raped on a college campus. College campus by 8 men. All right. So you have that. You have one who is a Nigerian that happened in Nigeria. Uncle impregnated her. Oh. And the uncle is a medical doctor. So guess what he did?
He's going to remove the baby.
Took her to go and remove. And we're not talking about a 20-year-old person. We're talking about a teenager.
Oh my God.
A teenager, okay? We're talking about a teenager. So we have stories, incredible stories like that we're bringing to the forefront now and say, look.
These things are happening.
Yeah.
And people should be bold enough to come out and share the story.
So we target Tear the Veil, hashtag Tear the Veil. Yeah. Tear the veil about who you are so that you can have freedom. One of them finally told us as a teenager, she too experienced domestic violence, and I mean, with a gun to her head.
Wow.
As a teenager by a boyfriend, American. As a teenager with gun to her head. All right. So these are the secrets that we women are sitting on.
And we're just so scared to come out and talk
exactly.
about it.
We're sitting on it and we're hurting so badly, and we're transferring it. It becomes a generational cause because we're transferring it
to the girls, the next girls.
That's right. We transfer it, and suddenly they too get molested.
Yeah, and they keep quiet.
Too.
Because mommy hasn't taught them how to speak up.
Exactly. So I think it's time, with all the movements that are going on now, it is time that women get up and speak.
Speak about whatever you've been going through, and speak even to your kids.
That's right.
Against
Teach them.
Any future damage.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
You have little kids. I have young kids. I'm like, no one touches your
that's
pee-pee
right.
except maybe mommy, or maybe when we're taking a shower.
Right.
Nobody.
That's
you
right.
report. Don't do. You know, I'm already putting it in their brain.
Which is good, because some people, there's a school of thought that felt like, oh, the kids are too small. Why would you tell them? I said, look,
no, we need to.
You know, the perpetrators. They can do it.
They can prey on a 3-year-old.
A 3-year-old is even too small, because 3-year-old. No, there was one that was featured on the news in America. This is a father, a Caucasian father, who molested the son. Guess what age is the son? You will never get this.
1.
You will never get this. 2-month-old. He messed up that genital area. They had to airlift that baby to one of our hospitals, and they're still looking for him now. And I said, where is the mother? You need to take that mother too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because she cannot say that she did not, before she even had that baby, there were signs and clues.
And besides that, are you not changing your babies? Like when my kids were young, it might sound crazy, but I checked them really well.
You should.
I checked them. I think parents should do that.
You should.
Don't feel maybe, my son, even if he's going to be, I'm like, oh, mommy wants to shower for you today. Like, I just want to check.
That's right.
Because they might not want to talk. And this same story you're telling me happened to someone back then in Nigeria, that the maid this was a female.
Yeah.
No, a house boy was molesting like a 7-year-old boy. And they didn't know until one day that, and you know, parents, I'll just say, oh, go and meet this to shower for you. Let auntie this shower for you. No, I do the showering for I don't care.
That's right.
I don't care how tired I am. I'd rather them not shower.
That's right. Absolutely.
Than for me not to shower for them. So the boy, until grandma came home visit, I'm going, oh, let me shower for my grandson. As you know, like a bonding moment. And she noticed that she was just trying to wash the bum, and the boy would just, move. I'm like, what is... Then he checked it, and the place was already like messed up. And it's a shame right now, because when they now brought him here, and more shameful that the boy is now, not shameful, but obviously he's now found another way to express his sexuality due to what happened to him when he was young. So these things are real. Tell us about your book, the new book.
Fearless Visionary is a group of 18 women that I was very strategic in picking them, because a lot of women came, but I felt drawn to, maybe because there's this artistic part of me as a movie maker, felt drawn to specific stories that I felt like, wow, they could be stories that people would want to really see as a movie or something like that. And so these women came with stories of bullying in school. I mean, just so many stories. And I said, wow, what can I do to create a platform for them? So the first thing that I did was to make every one of them, turn every one of them into a bestseller. I have my little thing, and I know what to do with that, because after you've become bestseller for a while, you kind of know the algorithms, and you know. And so now that is one of the programs that I have.
Share that with us.
Oh no, I'm not doing that. You can come on my website, and then you can see a little bit of that.
So tell us about the book and the program leading to it.
And so the book is each woman tells their own story, and also give tools and provide tools as to how you can overcome it. Onyinye is one of them. Onyinye is a Chukwe Mirror, and she's in Canada. She's the one that the uncle molested. And even up until last week, she was being threatened. And guess what? By the parents.
Don't tell me they know the story.
That's right. The father.
So the father knows that his brother.
That's right.
Molested his daughter.
That's right.
And
he's not having it. He's not having it. He said to you, you're better dead than who you are right now.
Really?
Yes. You deserve it because you asked for it. All right?
His brother.
That's right. She asked for it as a teenager, asked for that kind of nonsense. You know, the sister is talking, the mother is talking, so it's just like...
So they're telling her to keep quiet and not talk about
and they're saying she's not their daughter anymore and things like that. So you have someone like that. Then you have Erica, who is American, who was gang raped. So this thing... It goes across. He doesn't know religion. He doesn't know culture. He doesn't know tradition. He doesn't even know the state or the country or the code that you're in. So you have 8 men sitting on top of a girl and raping. And guess what? Just raping that girl. Can you imagine that kind of that kind of thing would do to your mate? Can you imagine?
It's traumatizing.
Exactly.
She needs years.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Years of rehabilitation.
Absolutely. Then you have Dana, who is from India, who was put in a sack of rice.
Really?
And was kidnapped. She was now what her goal now is to go back home to find her parents because she doesn't know her parents. She was kidnapped as a kid.
By who?
She was kidnapped. By kidnappers. They kidnapped her, and then it was oh, Lord God. Yeah, so they kidnapped her. She's one of those that she was kidnapped. And then she found
the pictures of...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Beautiful women.
Absolutely. Then we have the queen. She is from Southwestern region.
She's the one at the upper left?
Yes. She wrote the foreword on the book because she really believed in the movement. You have Wendy. Wendy is the one who was a teenager that found a gun, right pointed, the one in yellow, gun right in front of her, and she escaped that. Then we have Erica in pink, who was molested from ages 9 up, and then gang raped. She's the one that was gang raped. Then you have Fatma from Saudi. See, we have them from different parts of the world.
Even in places you feel they are like really serious. Saudi Arabia.
Especially. So with her, she's one that is so bold, you know, coming out from behind the veil to say, you know what, there are some things that are being committed, there are some things that are being done against women that need to stop. So her story is about that. Then we have the red one, we have her, who is about the daughter. The daughter was thinking about committing suicide and was slashing.
Herself.
And she didn't know. She didn't know anything. You know, she went to church to tell them at the church, and the church didn't tell her. The church didn't call the mother. So it was the brother that was in that meeting that went home and said, oh, something's going on with her. So they had to deal with that. Then you have Florida.
Black and white.
Yeah, is a flip, complete flip, because her son is black and was accused of rape.
Oh, I see.
On the campus. And in fact, the case just ended like few weeks ago.
Oh my God.
It was over 2 years or whatever, and now everything is over and done with, but his life is being changed forever because he was a football person. He had all these scholarships and everything was stripped from him. So now he has to start all over again.
Oh my God, and the list goes on.
And it goes, incredible stories. There are 2 volumes, so people are going to have to read it to really see incredible stories.
So where can we get the book? And you tell us about the program you're having in London.
Yeah.
Where can we get this wonderful book?
Well, Amazon, anywhere books are sold. Just say Tear the Veil volumes, but you got to buy the 2 volumes.
Okay, volume 1
and volume 2, because the stories there, they're just,
wow.
Yeah.
Talking about women and issues surrounding women.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Tear the Veil.
tear the veil.
Meaning like just come out.
That's
like,
right. Tear the veil.
Yeah.
Tear the veil.
Very, very good.
Yes.
I'm really inspired. I'm really
Thank
touched.
you. Thank you.
It's very, it's a bit sentimental, but yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about your program in London.
Yes. So we were invited at the University of East London, and what we're going to be doing is more like a discussion. It's a launch of the book, but it's also more like a discussion. So I think the three fearless visionaries, myself, Erica, and Wendy, will be sitting up there, and then I think someone is going to be moderating. Their COO for the campus will be moderating, and so students can get to come and ask whatever questions, and we can just discuss. Because all these issues need to be discussed.
Yeah, and it's good the way you're going to schools, because we need to start from
Exactly. Well, she was gang raped on campus.
On campus, yeah. So is it going to be, obviously you're going to be talking to girls and boys, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's not just about a girl thing or a boy thing. I think because when you're discussing it, you're going to bring it. It's a societal issue, and we need to bring it. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be at the University of East London to do that April 4th. We're going
that's in 2 days.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
On Thursday.
Yes. So we're going to be doing that, and then I think on April 6th we also have because once you're done with the campus, then you also have to deal with the religious part of it too. So we have one of the Redeemed churches that are inviting us to come and speak. And so those are the issues, because you can't just look at the physical. For me as a nurse, I look holistically, spiritually too, because you've got to look at it, because even in the spiritual, it is happening. Pastors sleeping with it is happening. In so church, we can't just pretend like okay, Holy Ghost cover this thing. Holy Ghost can't cover it anymore. So we need to talk about it. So that will be on April 6th.
Okay, so are people invited?
Yes, people are certainly invited. We have information on fearlessvisionaries.com. fearlessvisionaries.com. All they have to do is just click on World Tour, and they'll see. We had incredible opportunity to be able to launch at Capitol Hill. We did that, and by God's grace, we were able to do United Nations. And so now we're doing London, and then after 6 we go to France. Nice. And then we come back, and then we're also going to do Dubai too. Dubai, everybody is invited too.
Oh, nice!
In Dubai,
if you buy my ticket.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. It's going to be really cool.
So with all the information on www.fearlessvisionaries.com. What are your social handles?
Well, Fearless Visionaries, right? Twitter, Fearless Visionaries. Instagram, Fearless Visionaries. Facebook, Fearless Visionaries.
It's always so easy when you just use a name.
Exactly.
So on a lighter note, because you sound like you're always really busy. Not that you sound like you are busy.
Yes.
How do you relax?
Well, that's a very good. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for when I can relax, frankly. But I think for me, writing and cooking.
You said
those two things.
So what's your favorite meal?
Jollof rice.
Jollof rice, the African
jollof rice. And then take that beef and assorted meat and wrap it all in red sauce. Spicy sauce.
I'm very spicy
too. It smells
spicy. Oh, nice. You sound like a good cook.
Which I'm going to do. I actually ordered it. I ordered it from while I was back in America.
But you're going to get a lot here in London.
Oh, I ordered it already. So it's supposed to be getting to my place by 1 p.m. today.
Oh, nice. So you're eating alone. Am I invited?
Oh, yes, you are. Because I bought a big pot.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
London too is like, at least to an extent, London feels a bit more close to home.
Yes.
So you get all the, tell me about it, any local food. There's another thing called ayamashe. I don't know if you know.
Oh, yeah.
Ayamashe stew, really spicy. So they make it with green peppers and scotch bonnet, all the spice. They give, those designer rice stew, they do like something like that, brown stew.
How do you get that?
Where did you order the jollof from?
So I can ask her to do it.
Ayamashe.
Oh.
But once you order it, send mine for giving you the...
Yes.
It's really nice.
Wow.
You will love that. With white rice.
Does it look like one of the rice?
It's like, that pepper that we use, not the smooth pepper. Those pepper they use for vegetables? But they use green pepper. Green pepper and a bit of red pepper.
Now there's a kind of soup like that in Nigeria.
It's called designer stew, but our own is brown. They use dried pepper. The one in Nigeria, I don't know. I can't remember the name of that pepper now. But that one that they use in Nigeria, that they sell locally with white rice. And with boiled eggs and little chunks of beef and plantain and beans. Oh, I want to go home. I can't wait to go home. So it says, then the last one, obviously, on the more lighter note now, there's always this thing about Ghana jollof rice and Nigerian jollof rice. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, okay, so I tasted both.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hands down,
Hands down, Nigerian.
I don't know about anybody, because when I tasted the Ghanaian one, it was like, no.
Hope the Ghanaians are listening. Nigerian jollof all the way. Thank you so much, Princess. We didn't even talk about the royal. You want to talk anything about your royal family?
I was born in the southwestern region of Nigeria, and my parents and family have ruled that area since the 1280s.
Oh.
Well, I used to think 14, but my father corrected me recently.
Wow.
That is true through that, and God has just allowed that to help me in America to be able to.
What area?
You know, to be able.
If I want to know.
It's southwestern Emurekiti.
Emurekiti.
Ekiti State.
Girl.
And so right now my uncle is the king right there, and so I go home to help to rebuild in the area of health. In the area right now, we're also. I'm sponsoring about 50 children, and I've been doing it for the last 14 years now.
That's good. Impressive.
For the last 14 years, every year I pick 50, and we just send them to school so that their parents don't have to worry about how to,
That's nice.
So those are the kinds of things that we do under the foundation, which is the Princess of Suburbia Foundation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Princess Fumi Hancock, for joining us on today's show.
Thank you for having me.
And I wish you good luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
And you call me to dine with you when you're having your ayam
Yes. Oh, yes, I will.
So we'll go on a short break now. You're still watching the Ben Breakfast Show. When we return, we'll take the fashion report. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.